Okay, this is an outline of the course, and I want to use it to explain what's in the course, what's not in the course. Basically, what's in the course is all the knowledge that I believe is helpful in explaining why things are the way they are now, and how they've evolved to where they are now. So you'll understand what the trade-offs were, what the thinking was in getting us to where we are today. What's not in here is an analysis of alternative proposals. Maybe we can get a discussion going later on in the course of that, but if what you're looking for is, what do you think of proposal X, what do you think of arrangement Y, that's not here. I'm trying to give more basic background than that. So the first topic in the course is basic mortgage arithmetic. It's just amortizing a mortgage. And if you hate math and arithmetic, I strongly encourage you to go through this section. In fact, regardless of whether you're very good at it or very bad at it, this kind of sets the tone. And I don't overwhelm people with math in this, but it's important to understand how a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage works. The second topic is lowering the initial payment, because what you'll see is that the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage sets up especially if there's any inflation, sets up a desire to lower the initial down payment. So I want to talk about things that have evolved relative to that. Next, I want to get into housing as an investment. And again, it's important that we share a perspective on this, and so I'm going to talk about housing as an investment. Another important thing is background is institutional roles in the mortgage process, sort of who does what, and then institutional arrangements, because there are different ways to arrange those basic business functions. So I think it's really important to understand who performs those different functions under different scenarios. Then we get into some nitty-gritty analytics of default risk. First of all, how house prices play a role in default risk, and then in other factors in default risk. Then the other major analytic point, interest rate risk, and there's a lot of sort of terminology and methodology in dealing with interest rate risk in mortgages, and I want to explain that. Then we'll talk about different types of mortgage securities so that you have some basic background on that. Then risk management at Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, sort of what are the various functions that they perform in order to try to manage risk. It's not it gets complicated, and there are a lot of layers, and they're all important. Then turn to private label securities. That's the problems that are posed by for people who are not Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, and that changes the risk management method, and it explains why these risk tranches appeared, and I'll explain what those are. Next, it comes just a review of the painful historical episodes and policy responses, because that helps explain how we got to where we are today. And then I do want to talk about special interests in housing finance policy, because I think there are a few areas in American policy that are more it's hard to think of anything where the lobbying and special interests play a more important role. It's just very important, and we just need to remember and understand it. And then the last section gets to what sort of maybe introduces some of my point of view or some alternative points of view, to just look at some of the basic assumptions about housing policy. Before we jump to solutions, maybe we should step back and ask, what's the public interest in promoting home ownership? How do mortgage subsidies affect the housing market distribution of wealth? Maybe we should ask some of these fundamental questions. I won't be able to answer all of them, but I want to pose them in interesting ways. So that's an overview of the course, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.